So welcome back to WCCF Talks Gaming. I'm your host Keith, and we've got Alessio, Dave, and Chris here. And today it's mostly about PlayStation 5, but we're going to touch on some of the new Xbox Series X. And there's a topic Dave really wants to talk about with something called Warface. Not really sure what that is, but to get things kicked off today, we're going to hand it over to Alessio, and he's going to tell us what Sony has planned in the coming days for the PlayStation 5.
Well, at last, the digital showcase event, which has been rumored for many weeks now, it's finally confirmed. So it's happening on June 4th, and it will hopefully, showcase the console's design, but most importantly the games, because people have been very eager to see actual PlayStation 5 footage, other than the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, actual games. And there's a lot of hype. Sony, of course, didn't say much in advance, but they did say the showcase will run for a bit more than an hour. So that already gives us, an idea of how many games or announcements we'll be able to see. Personally, I think there's got to be something rather big, and of course, this is their main showcase event this year, since of course the E3 stuff is gone. They actually already announced before the pandemic that they weren't going to be at E3 anyway, but they of course need to showcase I think big exclusives for the PlayStation 5, and mostly it's going to be from their own worldwide studios portfolio of developers, I think. If you look at that, I think when you consider that, for example, Band Studios have recently produced Days Gone, and for example, Sucker Punch is about to release Ghost of Tsushima. Naughty Dog is about to release The Last of Us Part 2. I think the main possibilities right now are likely a new game from Guerrilla Games, likely Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It could be showcased, I think. For example, if you look back at the PlayStation 4 reveal event, there was Infamous Second Son from Sucker Punch, and that game didn't ship until early next year, early in the following year, and I think that could be true as well for Horizon Zero Dawn, shipping early 2021 with about 4 years after the first game. And other than that, it's hard to say honestly, but maybe a new game from Japan Studio as well, since they haven't really made a game recently other than the Shadow of the Colossus remake, alongside Bluepoint. So I think they may have something interesting as well. And other than that, I think we may also see some PlayStation 5 upgrades, like enhancement patches for some of the most popular PlayStation 4 games, like Spider-Man, God of War, perhaps. And at least that's kind of what I'm expecting to see.
Okay. So, yeah, I could see Spider-Man, because they did mention that game in the early talks of the hardware, as far as like what could be done, and they use Spider-Man as an example of their the storage capability improvements of the newer consoles. So I could see that. So Alessio, what do you hope to see most out of this, and what do you expect to not see?
Well, I mean, in terms of games, like I said, it's personally I hope to see Horizon Zero Dawn too, because I mean, even if it's there, I'm not expecting to see like a big gameplay reveal, probably, but maybe in an engine trailer or something like that.
Okay.
Could be very very possible. And as for what I'm not I'm not expecting to see is I don't think there will be many games in this showcase, at least, because like I said, it's going to be just over an hour. And I think they will also of course take time to unveil the console design, the aesthetic design, and maybe some other stuff regarding the hardware as well, which isn't exactly as well known as the Xbox Series X hardware. So between all this, I'm expecting between maybe 3 or 4 big game reveals, and then maybe some look at the announced PlayStation 4 games. Not
Gotcha.
more than that.
So you're expecting
not
a bit
think-
of the enhanced kind of stuff, like what we saw with
Yeah,
Microsoft talking
yeah.
about.
I don't think they have enough developers who are free to make PlayStation 5 games that are ready already for showcase.
Okay.
So it's
Well, we
I
do know that
wouldn't- I wouldn't
they
be
have
too
showed
surprised.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw, like I said, some early bits of information. Insomniac 2018, when Spider-Man was released, is usually every 3 years when they release a game. So 2020, 2021, next year we could see another game by Insomniac. So I'm gonna say before that, Ratchet and Clank, they had Edge of Nowhere as well in 2016, 2018 Spider-Man. So yeah, it's getting close to the time for an Insomniac game.
Dave, your thoughts?
It's not muted. Okay, I had to double check that for a second there. No, I think the PS5 event is very, very exciting. Like Alessio said, I expect to see the aesthetics of the console and the controller in more detail. I think a big thing, as we've said, is the enhanced games, and more than that, backwards compatibility as a whole. It's been really weird because Microsoft quite clearly wants the Xbox Series X to run pretty much everything the Xbox One does. That seems to be their intent. Sony has been really cagey on this, and I honestly think for some people this will be a deciding variable. Because personally, I have always had PS4 this gen. If I'm going to consider buying a different console next gen, if both consoles come out same day, you have the PlayStation 5 with like 5 launch games, and you have the Xbox Series X, which has the whole Xbox One library, and then like half of that just on Xbox Games Pass. I know which is going to look more attractive to me, or a more casual gamer than me.
Yeah, that's certainly
so
true.
I think that backwards compatibility and the enhanced games are going to be a really big thing, and I think Sony needs to pull their finger out and catch up with what Microsoft has been doing since 2015.
Yeah,
It was mentioned quite recently from Sony that they want every game to be PS5 compatible by something like July. So
for all the games from July, yeah.
Yeah, so I think
that feels like too little, too late to me. It feels like they should have been put this in like a year ago.
Yeah,
I mean, the issue is Sony are being very secretive after the whole Last of Us 2 thing. It was quite recently. Was it yesterday that Jason Schreier tweeted about how Sony are so paranoid of leaks that 2 developers who are presenting in next week's event weren't even given the date when they're going to be presenting.
Wow.
So they're being that secretive that it's like, yeah, you're presenting for us. When's that? I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to add into what Dave was saying about backward compatibility, because actually this week there was not so much of a rumor or leak, but some people noticed that on the PlayStation website, for some reason, the mention of backward compatibility kind of got erased, which many people, well, at least some people interpreted as a way of saying that maybe it will not be ready in time for the launch. Which
Yeah, I saw this too. I believe something got sent to the WCCF Tech tip inbox, and I saw that, and it was really interesting how that came into us the very same day that it was mentioned that from July, all PS4 games will have to be PS5 compatible. That was the same day.
Yeah.
So I refuse to believe that's a coincidence.
I'm not thinking coincidence either, but it just, you know, and let's just move into that topic and talk about it a little bit more. You know, Nate posted an article just yesterday from the time of recording that Sony's making games that can only be enjoyed on PS5, and that Xbox cross-gen is not for them. Like, that's not kind of their target. I'm not certain that's the smartest move to do in this market. I mean, they've got an incredible foothold. This is reminding me a lot of their almost arrogant nature on the PlayStation 3 launch.
Oh yeah,
and it's kind of scary. I mean, they've built up so much goodwill with the PS4, and even doing things like VR. And I know how you feel about VR, and we'll touch on that one later.
It's dead,
but PSVR has done fairly well, and Microsoft is like, no, we're not touching VR. We're just not going to do it. So
I think Microsoft are cagey after the whole failure of Kinect, and it did.
I don't blame them. They were right to be careful about what type of big departures they make. But it's really interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know. See, backwards compatibility, as somebody who primarily plays PC games, the biggest problem I run into is just operating system support and such. But
UI scaling.
Yeah, integer scaling has helped that a lot.
But that now, yeah.
But as a console, on consoles, my Xbox One, I like that I can go on the store and download old 360 games and even Xbox One games that I may have missed in the past. And I know that's not a reason to buy a new console, is for two generations old games. But if you, like Dave hit perfectly on the head, if you're going in and right now, and I know they haven't put a lot on PlayStation, but you've seen Microsoft throw all these games out there, and it's like, look at all these games, look at all these developers, and Sony is like, we got this really cool looking controller, and it feels different. So, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
It's a strange one because, like you said, it's two things on this. Like you talked about the history, Sony almost coming across as arrogant. It's history repeating itself. Every generation you get that. Nintendo, incredibly arrogant after the SNES. They failed miserably against the PS1. Yes, shut up, Dave. Sony managed to actually stay modest enough. They succeeded with the PS2. But then, as you say, they got arrogant. PS3, they just thought, we've got this in the bag. They failed. They failed miserably. But then Microsoft got arrogant. And then with their release of the Xbox One originally, well, we've got a console for you without always online connection. It's called the Xbox 360. No, you don't have that. Don't be morons. And and we could be seeing the same. We could be seeing another cycle of arrogance now, just swapping from Microsoft to Sony, and then that's certainly possible. And then when you talk about playing older games, it's a tangent, a big tangent, but I keep looking on eBay now because I'm going to buy a PS Vita just because there are games that are only available for the Vita to play on the Vita or PS3 instead of the PS4. It's like, surely they can support them. I want to play Suikoden on the PS4, not the Vita. I don't have the PS3 anymore.
Can I offer up a counterpoint? This is going to be a counter argument to that. Dave might fill me on this one. Dave, I need you back on this one. Okay, so basically,
can back me up.
So what I'm getting at is with enjoyed on PS5 only. Let's say that they're targeting a next generation of fidelity. Yes, they're targeting to push that. Do you want the same games that you? So the Xbox crowd is going to get a game that they can play on their Xbox One or their Xbox Series X. And it's going to look and play and perform differently a bit based on which one they get. So do you want that, or do you want to really squeeze the system and really get that fidelity? I mean, we
mix-
could see a point where we see these launch titles for the PS5 may actually look better than the Xbox One now, or Xbox Series X. Now, I know there's going to be people screeching at me that I'm a moron. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're probably true.
But if you're able to edge out all of the performance from that one console and then over time cycle the other one, I think early we're going to see better looking PS5 games than Series X, but mid to late life cycle, that's going to be drastically reversed.
Reversed, I don't know if it'll be drastically reversed, but I think like you said, we're going to see the Xbox lag behind, but that happened this generation as well, because the PS5 still had the advantage. They were still making games just for that, even though they were PS4 and PS5. But I don't know. Yeah, like Dave said, it could go either way. My old debate always relies, when it comes to choosing a console, relies on the fact that Microsoft are going for the cross-platform thing. We talked about it before, where they're essentially cutting off part of their audience. Anybody who's got a PC, a gaming PC, literally has zero reason to ever buy an Xbox One Series X. There's no reason to buy it. If it's coming out on the Xbox, you can get it on the PC. The PlayStation games aren't. So the ownership is simple. If you've got a PC, get a PlayStation, get a Switch.
I actually disagree.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh
No. Here's the thing.
Tell me, Dave.
You own a PC.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're never going to get a new PC?
Well, no.
Exactly. So if you own a PC, if I own Steam, and I do, and I have a whole library of games.
I wish I owned Steam.
I am not.
Yes.
Yeah. If I've got Steam and I've got a whole library of games, I'm not going to think to myself, I don't want to play these games on my new PC. And likewise, if I have a library of like PC games on, say, the Microsoft Store, and perhaps I have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for PC and console, and perhaps I would consider playing a game in my living room on my sofa, I would pick the console which has all the games that I can access immediately.
That is actually why I ended up with the Xbox.
It's a fair point.
Keith is right there with you. And like I do personally, because I have a good PC, I'm not going to buy an Xbox.
That's true.
So I'm with you on that one. Because I have a PC, I'm not going to buy an Xbox. However, I think there are very good reasons that crossplay actually facilitates people getting a console on the side.
Yeah, and that's how I ended up with mine when they started doing cross-play, the cross-buy. So you buy it on one platform, you have it on both. It was for comfortability's sake, I guess. I don't know. I was lazy.
Yeah, I can understand that. I just think if you want to access the biggest variety of games, then are you going for the comfort and the same games, or do you want to risk the comfort ideal for the Xbox games? Play them on the PC,
but the thing that you're forgetting is that if you do split your ecosystems, which again, personally, I'm all about variety. I want the Switch and the PlayStation and the PC. Don't need an Xbox because of that. I'm about variety.
You're the same as me then.
Yeah. I'm of your opinion. However, I've got to admit that like if you split your ecosystems like that, you find yourself paying multiple subscriptions.
Oh yeah.
Believe me.
With like Xbox Live Gold, and then you look at Games Pass, and you look at PlayStation Plus and Nintendo Switch Online. Obviously, you want the Games Pass for both PC and Xbox if you're doing it, but it adds up real fast. And I really understand why someone would want to stick to like one or two ecosystems, PC and Xbox, condense those subs,
into one. Yeah.
And space.
Yeah, the sub thing is getting too far. PlayStation, Nintendo.
So to wrap this one up, let's go around the table and state.
Alessio might have something to say.
Alessio, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Actually, no, I mostly agree with what's been said. Everything from the arrogant Switch thing. And that's not to say Nintendo Switch. I mean that both Microsoft and Sony tend to switch between arrogant and non-arrogant based on their previous generation's performance, so to speak. So it's basically, with the Xbox 360, for example, Microsoft did a lot of things right and they sold a lot of consoles. But, the following generation with the Xbox One, they did the reverse for the most part. And
Yeah.
the reverse is true for Sony, with the PlayStation 3 and then the PlayStation
After the
4.
PS2, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually something that I see a lot of people mention in the forums like Resetera and Reddit, stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's kind of a shared sentiment, I would say. And yeah.
I was just saying, what do you think about the secrecy of Sony with the fact that they're not even telling their developers when they're even showing their new stuff?
Well, yeah, that's definitely could be a byproduct of what happened with The Last of Us 2. Could be definitely.
It also could be just related to coronavirus, because it's the same with Nintendo recently. They haven't done a Nintendo Direct. They said that they actually were going to do one in the last month and cancelled it. And that's because all the dates are constantly changing.
Yeah. I think Nintendo are notoriously secret, though. Even without coronavirus, they've always been a very secretive
absolutely.
company.
But still, I think Sony is. I think every company is feeling the fact that dates can change all the time right now.
Everything's in fluctuation. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said the C word again. Damn.
What word?
Yeah,
I didn't hear
Corona.
I got a drink over here.
My Sharona. I mean, Corona.
So, in all seriousness, when it comes to the secrecy, it always makes me. There's no in between when there's so much secrecy. They've either got something so good, and they're going to blow your underwear off with it, or they really have no idea how people are going to respond. It's either that, one or the other. It's either so good they want to come out and they want to drop the mic and be like, "There we are," or
you
like,
very rarely get it's always the polarization. Something's either that crap that they know it's going to flop and they want to leave it to the last second, or see that with games that are doing them.
I would be more concerned if they were waiting until Friday at 5:00 to do the reveal.
Oh yeah, when financial reports come out, then it's gone bad.
Yeah, the fact that they're still doing it midday on Thursday before, like you said, before the stock markets will close for the weekend, while trading is still going on, that tells me they're a little confident
to an extent.
Actually, it's something I'd like to add on this one. It's there are a couple of well-known insiders and journalists,
eyeballs.
Jason, which Chris mentioned previously, but also Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat, who has been posting a lot of the PlayStation 5 showcase event. And even yesterday on his latest piece, he wrote that he heard from several developers that the PlayStation 5 may well be the best console architecture in history. That's what he said, and that's something that Jason Schreier previously said as well. So I'm thinking, they might have some actual sources in there, and it might be a sentiment from at least part of the development community. So if that's true, then the common knowledge, when everyone looked at the paper shit, it was like PlayStation 5. It's got very fast SSD, but on the raw teraflops count, the Xbox Series X seems better. But
it's how much a game can actually utilize that, though. It might end up being higher for no actual function.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people praising this SSD stuff, and of course, Epic with the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, and
Tim Sweeney saying that the SSD is going to be something that PC gamers then think, "Oh, I need that."
Yeah, I think it will be kind of required, going forward for PC gamers as well, because if games start relying on it as a base, and then the requirements will have to go up.
Yeah.
I've got a question then for everybody. Which console are you going to get?
Well,
probably PS5.
Yeah, probably, like you said, it's because we all have a gaming PC, it makes more sense to get a PlayStation 5. So
you're going to get a big box.
Yeah, I'm going to go. No, this is going back over there for the test bench. Actually, built. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna come down to the games. I got to see what's coming out for it when it's coming out. I built my living room PC. I'm gaming away very happily on it. I don't know. I don't know that I'll go to the next gen consoles until there's enough exclusive games. A lot of the exclusive games that I like to play were on the Xbox. So like, I love Halo series. And I'm playing it on my PC in ultra wide at 144 hertz. I don't know what I'm gonna do on the next consoles yet. Neither one have honestly sold me. And when people say, "Well, ray tracing," well, my living room PC, it does that. They're like, well, super fast storage. Well, my living room PC already does that. And I have my entire Steam library and Uplay library. And I don't know. That's me. I'm not sold on either one just yet.
You're going to make the decision later.
Yeah, you know, what I hope for is that the DualSense controller, hopefully it may retain the you know new haptics features even when hooked to PC as well. Which
that would be
good. That would be good.
I'm down for that.
So the other question I do have to ask, and this is a competition between all four of us. So how much do you think the PS5 is going to get announced for price wise?
Well, yeah, just yesterday, I think Jim Ryan, which is
the rumors,
the PlayStation boss, he said that basically he hinted that it's not going to be cheap. I mean, he said it's going to be, adequate for its value. So basically, in executive speak, it means I think over 400 for sure.
I was having a discussion with a friend who. People from work who are just like, asking me what I know about the consoles. Is like, I know as much as anybody, really. Just read the website if you want to find stuff out. But price-wise, I was thinking probably around this $550 mark, $500 to $600. Pounds mark, you're looking about £500.
Yeah, so I actually agree. I think if you want to buy a console outright, it's going to be like around £500 to dollars, euro, whatever. However, you mentioned I said if you want to buy a console outright, because
the Microsoft idea.
I firmly believe the subscription services that Microsoft do and the finance services, that is going to become a standard model, because just like phones, these systems are now becoming too expensive to be a singular purchase.
Well, and they're lasting 7 years.
Yeah, and also you are hearing it from Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft that they're thinking console generations are going to become a thing of the past. I think these incremental enhanced systems are going to be a standard thing. Like every 3 years, you'll start paying a new
3 to 4 years,
console, just like a phone upgrade. I believe it.
Yeah, actually, it's something that Microsoft. Phil Spencer, the boss of gaming at Microsoft, he said they're going to push a lot more on this, subscription console thing.
Yeah, so I've even been getting emails about it.
Upgrade
your Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, the issue with that, of course, is these current times, and then we're still suffering, or some people are still suffering, the aftermath of the financial crisis from over 10 years ago. So,
of course,
not everybody can do credit. Not everybody is fortunate enough.
Yes, that's going to be absolutely going to be a concern, but you can't account for everyone, Like obviously, there'll still be the option to buy things outright, as always. So, but also, I think that Sony and Microsoft alike, if they jump on this bandwagon, which I do believe they should, I think they will willingly essentially take a loss on their subscription services, which cost them much less to run than they charge, of course. I think they'll take a loss on the subscription services in order to at least break even on the hardware on the subscriptions, and then keep people plugged in to pay those subscriptions for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So I think if you look at it as a whole, I think if you look at it like buying a console and subscription separately versus having them all in a finance bundle, I imagine that they will look very attractive.
Yeah, more than likely. So much per month and you get everything included. Yeah.
I think if you like broke it down, how many months, whatever interest, I think it'd probably be not too different.
Yeah. I think we're all at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what I think Dave hit on mine. Speaking of Dave,
Let me do
Yeah,
it.
Dave.
We've
Let
got
me do
one
He's
last topic.
obsessed about one topic.
Yeah, Dave has got. We're
You
running out of time.
actually, that's my fault because I gave him the code to review the game.
Obsessed about one topic, and
maybe
for
I
once, it's
shouldn't-
not Nintendo.
Maybe
Yeah.
I should go back in time, like
Take it away.
good old Marty, and
It's a good idea.
prevent my old self to do that.
Dave,
Yeah, give me the code next time. I'll not be
Right.
interested in it.
I'm going to
So-
start a timer.
Yeah,
Dave?
I'll be quick.
You've got no.
You're
You don't have
always-
to be too quick. You have
Yes.
5 minutes.
Excellent. That's all the time I need. So, Warface Breakout. I hadn't played Warface before, but it is Crytek's Warface. Is Crytek's free-to-play online shooter. Warface Breakout is Crytek's not free-to-play online shooter, and this one takes a much more CS:GO slash Valorant approach.
Sorry, Dave. Just gonna stop you there.
Go.
It's not. This is not actually made by Crytek.
No,
It's
it's not.
basically it's made from the old team of my.games.
My dot games. It's Blackwood
Okay.
Games, isn't it?
Yeah, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
Warface was originally made by Crytek, but even that was now was.
They never hold on to anything. Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, Crytek
Okay.
was struggling, weren't they? Let's face it.
You see, this is why I can't keep up anymore. Crytek just throw things out there and then just sell them off. Okay, fair enough.
They
Warface,
expanded too far and struggled. So,
yeah,
yeah.
the Warface, the previously Crytek series, is now owned by what's his names, and they've made Warface Breakout, which is a
Okay.
paid Counter-Strike slash Valorant alike, where it's a more competitive, round-based first-person shooter where you're gonna spread out on the map, walk very slow, and shoot people very accurately. It is bland. The music's bland. The art style is bland, but the gameplay is very, very good. Actually, like all the guns work, everything works. It's a very good tactical experience. Now, because it's a paid experience and there's been zero advertising, no one's playing it. No
Yeah.
one's playing it. There is. Last night I tried to get in the game. Sure, it was the middle of the night. My fault to try and get a game then. But I was matchmaking for 10 minutes and I went to bed. Okay. But even better than that, I stopped playing casual mode. I went to hardcore mode this morning. Oh, I got a game. Out of 10 people, it had 5 people playing. 4 people on my team, 1 person on the enemy team. This is the good stuff. Now, in
Fair
hardcore
stats.
mode,
Fair odds.
you get friendly fire turned off so you can start shooting your teammates. And before you know it, my teammates got so sick of winning, they started killing each other.
Last
And
man
then-
standing.
When there was only one teammate left, he would knife fight the enemy. And the enemy would stand and watch us kill each other, waiting to knife fight whoever wins. I have
I like it.
I have a 15-minute video of Warface being turned into an underground knife fight arena.
I'm starting to think, do you not
Dave.
think that would actually make a good game?
It would have been a better
Where
game.
you've got
Dave.
2
Dave.
teams facing each other and the
would've
last
been a
man
better-
standing of each
I-
team.
I need you to record me an audio clip explaining what's going on for when we post that video because that's going to be
Yeah.
hilarious.
I'm sweating a bit now thinking about it. It was
It was
first.
intense.
At first, I was like, this is the stupidest game I've ever played. This is ridiculous. No one takes this seriously. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to knife him. Yay.
Yeah,
And it was great. And it was
Yeah,
great.
boy.
It was great.
I'm going to stab you.
So that's Warface Breakout. I'm not sure I recommend it, but it's fun.
I'll be looking forward to your full review on that one.
Well, you've just
Hell
said
yeah.
that. I recommend it.
Well, guys, I think that's a good wrap up for today. We had a good time. I thank the audience for joining us. This is Keith saying catch you in the next one. All right, later, guys.